Okay, so I just want to do a video just to consider how the 100-day Pentecost count for the literal count, which I began from the 18th of January, could actually be from the 17th of January, because that was the full moon on the 17th of January at 11:52 p.m. and that's UTC time. So I'm wondering whether, in regards to the fact that it parallels with the 17th day of the first month being the day of resurrection for first fruits, that the count should begin from the 17th of January for this literal count. And if I do that, it's interesting because instead of it being the 27th of April, it actually makes it the 26th of April being the 100th day. So let me just show you that. The 27th of April is the 100th day on the literal Pentecost count of 7 Sabbaths, and then after the 7th Sabbath to count 50 days to the day gets you to a 100th day, which is a 2 count in Leviticus 23 verse 15 and 16, not just 1 count reworded or repeated again. So starting from the 17th of January, which was when the full moon happened, very late in the evening, but still the full moon on the 17th of January, 7 Sabbaths. And it's interesting that the Sabbaths are on Sunday, and that is really the day for Christians, because we do actually worship the Lord on Sundays, and that should be a holy day because of his holy presence when you worship him corporately in spirit and truth. So this is why on Sundays you don't want to be doing menial tasks. On Sunday you want to be able to rest. God gave us the 7th day to rest and be replenished, and be able to be refreshed and well rested for the next week coming up. And so this is why Gentiles, we have obviously a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but ultimately it's on Sundays that Christians worship the Lord. And I'm not talking about how the Jews or Hebrew, the Hebrew calendar does it. Doesn't matter. This is to the Gentiles because of a new covenant that we have in Christ, which now includes us into a new covenant. So we don't want to be going into the old covenant, because that's not to us. That was only to the Jews. So after the 7th Sabbath, we're to count 50 days after the 7th Sabbath to the day gets us to the 26th of April. And this is a literal count from the 17th of January, which is paralleled with the 17th day of the first month, which is the resurrection day, first fruits day. So this is why the 26th of April being Tuesday could actually be the day that's paralleled with the triumphal entry in the Gospel of John as being the day of Pentecost on the literal 100-day Pentecost count, 7 weeks, and then to count 50 days after the 7th Sabbath to the day, would get us to the 26th of April being the triumphal entry in the Gospel of John. And then for the actual calendar Pentecost count, using the Overcomer calendar, which is the dark moon is happening on the 30th of April, we could be seeing the calendar Pentecost come on the 30th of April being the new moon day of the 5th month, or the 1st of May being the new moon day of the 5th month. Okay, I've always hummed and hawed whether I should put the new moon day of the 5th month on the 30th of April or the 1st of May, but because the dark moon happens at about 8:30 UTC time, which is 9:30 British summer time, it could be that this is the true day of Pentecost being the 30th of April. And what is interesting about that being the 30th of April is that that is the triumphal entry for the 3 synoptic Gospels, which is after the 3 days for the sign of Jonah. So I just want to do a very quick video that I'm hoping that you will share and like and make comments so that this video can be shared on YouTube, because unless you like and make a comment, this video won't be seen. And that's why it's so important that Christians get to see this. Even in the next couple of days, I've done everything I can. I've got 2 YouTube channels to get this message out on double effort to get these videos out. I've written 5 books about the dual Passover night timeline to show the mystery of there being this 8-year time period for the 2 first days of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, first to the 3 synoptic Gospels, which is for the Hebrew calendar which is the old covenant, and then Jesus gave up his spirit to establish a new covenant, and we went into the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread for the Gospel of John for another 4 years. And the fourth night watch was taken out of the night, put at the end of the daytime period, which explains why the 3 synoptic Gospels witness it going dark when Jesus was on the cross between noon and 3 p.m, between the 6th to the 9th hours. It's because it's coming from the Gospel of John, which is running 3 hours in advance because the morning started earlier, 3 hours earlier, because there wasn't a fourth night watch. Okay, so if you can share this video, it would be much appreciated so that others can hear about it on YouTube. They're just looking at the next blood moon that's coming up in May, and that's going to be too late. And they're looking for Pentecost in June. Again, that's too late, because God started the Pentecost count from January, which is winter. Okay, and if we start from the full moon, which is the 17th of January, then we get to the day of Pentecost to be the 26th of April. For a literal 100-day Pentecost count before the 3 days for the sign of Jonah. So this is the day you want to be ready for the Lord, is the 26th of April, in order to escape the judgment of the 3 days for the sign of Jonah. You want to escape that, because you've already gone through it. On here, 1, 2, 3. This fourth night watch is a third night, which is why we go from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in only a 6-month time period, which would normally be 3 hours. And yes, it is 3 hours because it's the fourth night watch, which goes from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. But it is actually a whole night, which is the third night. So we've already gone through 3 nights. And this is the one that you want to escape. You don't want to go through this. It will be judgment to God's people. God will judge his people first. And yes, as I've said, there could be a time of where Christians will be lit up in this darkness, but it could also be an absence for 3 days where people are taken and you're left behind. And then the Lord will return with those whom he has commissioned, who have gone to be with him on the 26th of April, because Jesus said to the thief on the cross, "Today you will be with me in paradise," before he was put in the tomb 3 days and 3 nights. And Malachi prophesies that the Lord will return with thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment. Okay, and so that's what you have to bear in mind, is that Christians will be judged for their carnality, because they come out of the church of Laodicea. They are lukewarm. So the Lord will spit them out of his mouth, which is a bit like how Jonah was spat out of the whale. They will get a second chance. Okay, the second chance will come in this revival time period. It's not to say that they've lost their salvation, but they weren't ready for the coming of the Lord, for the day of his visitation, the triumphal entry that begins on the 26th of April. And therefore, yes, be ready for the 30th and the 1st of May, but be ready also for this time period, from the 26th of April especially. Tuesday the 26th is the day to be ready for. God bless you, everybody. Have a great day.